So I'm just heading down to a local park. Today we're looking at 3 tents and comparing them to each other. I've got 2 one-person tents and a 2-person tent. And the reason I've included the 2-person tent is because it has similar design features to one of the one-person tents. So the first cab off the rank is the Alton 1P. The second cab off the rank, the Durston X-Dome 1 Plus. Third tent I brought, just for comparison, is the Hilleberg Allak 2. Let's start with the X-Dome. It's got plenty of room. It's the most spacious of the one-person tents. I've got a 25-inch pad in here at the moment. Good storage up on top. Plenty of space between the inner and the outer. There's a cross string that you can hang your light, and then there's plenty of vestibule space for a backpack. Now the Durston 1 Plus uses these magnetic clips to fasten. Honestly, I don't love them, and I feel like it needs 2. So that's there, but I often find that this part here sags down. Same with the inner. Similar deal. This tent's made out of a poly fabric. Now I weighed all 3 tents and I weighed them without the tent pegs, and the reason I did that was because tent pegs are like such a personal thing depending on where you're going, and also the Durston doesn't come with tent pegs. So what I've done is I've weighed them all without the tent pegs. I'll put the weight on the screen. I think it was 1.1 kgs. Now also the Durston has this T-zip. I get why they've done it, but in Australia we have a lot of creepy crawlies, and while that closes pretty well, and you know it opens right up as well, see that hole there? I much prefer the design of the Alton when it comes to this. Okay, let's move to the next tent. Okay, so this is the Alton. Put my backpack in. There's enough space for it. They give you this like insert. I never even installed it. To me it seems finicky. You know, my backpacks are like waterproof anyway, so it makes it lighter and easier to get a pack in when it's not there. I feel like it would be good if it was an optional extra. Got the 25-inch pad in there. Fits nicely. Good chunk of storage up the top, and you know, it's a good amount of room. You've got a little bit of room for stuff here, but I guess most of your stuff would go in the vestibule. It's a, you know, nice little spot. This is what I like about this tent. See how the zip, you can zip it up to the top. No creepy crawlies are going to crawl in through the bottom. I love that. The other thing I quite like is this design feature where it all just stuffs in. It is a bit of a reach. There's a little pocket there, stuffs in, and I find that's quite an elegant way to do it. It seems easier to me than having to roll it up. There's like a little hook to hang the light. I think that's a good spot to have it. This tent has an interesting design feature. So when you unzip it, it's got like a loop. So it folds back on itself so it doesn't drag on the ground. And you can just fold that back and none of it touches the ground. I would argue this is the best clipping version of them all. But basically you've got the same toggles as the tent uses to connect to the poles. It's the first time I undid it, I undid the wrong ones and unbuttoned the tent. I guess once you know what you're doing, like I just remember to put them on the top and then feel for the top and then undo those. I do feel like with this doorway So there's this ridge here. I feel like if it came back this way more, then this whole door could come back this way. Because when you're sitting back looking out, you're looking through the fly screen and this ridge. If the door was back here, you'd have a really good view. And I feel like you don't need the door to go all the way to the end. I'd rather there be material down the end so that when you reach for the inner door from the pocket, just the whole door, if it came back to here, it would make the view better, and it would also make getting access to the zips easier. This one comes in, I think, at about 1.4 kgs with no pegs. This has got the DAC poles, same as my Hilleberg. See how close the inner is to the outer? The nylon fabric sags when it gets wet. What I found was the outer sagged onto the inner.
It's touching there, it's touching there, even though I've pegged it out. And it's touching.
Sadly for me, the nylon and the low tolerance makes this tent a deal breaker for me. I'm sending it back to Alton, and I'm gonna get the Dyneema version because the Dyneema won't stretch. It's a lot more expensive, but this in Australia is about $559. The Dyneema tent's just shy of $1,300, so that's quite an expensive tent. Alton's customer service was really good. I sent some photos and gave them a comprehensive description of what had happened, and they offered a refund. So this cross pole is shorter than these other two poles. What I think would be nice is if either, so you've got these like metal looking toggles at the bottom, it'd be good if they were either black. Like what would be great is you have the black insert with the black toggle for the crossbar, or you have black toggles with the inserts all the way around for these ones, and then this one here and the one on the other side is a nickel looking toggle with a nickel insert, and then you don't have to faff. I mean, it's not a drama separating the poles out. I just think it would be nicer, you know. The ventilation seems suitable. Yeah, so it's all nice and taut at the moment. It still feels a little bit floppy, but when this gets dew on it, it just sinks right in. You can guy these out with these parts here, and it comes to like these little nylon T things go in there, and you get a bit of a Y to one guy line comes out here. I don't think I would guy it that way. I'd probably guy around each bit and do a separate thing. Another thing I don't love about this tent is these clips. They're a real faff to do up, particularly if you're wearing gloves. I think I just prefer another one of these, like one of these that comes up here and one that comes up here. Doesn't have to cross over, I don't feel. And maybe this one here would just go over the top pole. Yeah. And moving on to the Hilleberg. Okay, so this is a two-person tent. I can confirm you can get two 25-inch pads in here, they do need to be tapered. You have your toggle for your headlamp. You've got two more here if you wanted to do like a triangular kind of clothesliney thing. This is a beautiful tent. So it has the same DAC poles and the similar clipping system to the Alton. You know, I guess the Alton is copying the Hilleberg in this respect. When it gets wet, it just stays taut. You know, you've got color coded, you know, white goes to white, red goes to red. Easy to set up. I love the freestanding tents because you can just reposition them once they're set up. The guy lines on this are, you know, pretty butch. What you can also do is is if you want to do some stargazing, you can kind of make it like convertible. Look at the stars. How cool is that? This is by far the heaviest tent. Comes in at like 3.1 or 2 kgs. Interestingly as well, so you've got two little storage pockets on the sides, but that's kind of it for 2 people. Like there's nothing up here that would have been like really good. I guess, you know, because this is probably made for the snow, they kind of figure you put all your stuff in the vestibules. But you know, some overhead storage would have been nice. So when you roll up this has a different design. It's like a T toggle with an elastic. I don't love this design. It's just a bit fiddly. I find the Alton version by far the best. Just clip it on and you're done. And I love with the Alton one, it's in 2 spots. So you can imagine doing this with gloves in the snow, trying to get your fingers through a bit of elastic. But this is a beautiful tent. This is the Rolls Royce. You've got this one piece of cloth that comes back and you've got to put both in. I suppose what you could do is you could pull it like that to make it like longer. Could be a secondary use for it.